book review of Agile and Lean concepts for teaching and learning, bringing methodologies from industry to the classroom. This book review tackles about Agile, Lean, schools, education, teaching, and lastly, learning. This book explores the application of Agile and Lean techniques, originally from the field of software development and manufacturing to various aspects of education. It covers a broad range of topics, including applying Agile teaching and learning techniques in the classroom, incorporating lean thinking in educational workflows, and using team-based approaches to student-centered activities based on Agile principles and processes, demonstrating how Agile and Lean ideas can currently be applied to education. The book offers practical guidance on how to apply these ideas in the classroom or lecture hall, as well as new concepts that could spark further research and development. Success in the present worldwide marketplace hinges upon an organization's capacity to convey esteem both to its clients and to its workers. Associations need to discover more approaches to move quicker and also to convey more excellent items and administrations to customers, while giving the structure and strength to advance a solid authoritative culture. This is no little accomplishment, and it can't be cultivated through slow moving, conventional corporate structures. To endure, associations over the world are embracing the more intelligent, more effective techniques utilized by quick moving and high development organizations. David Parsons and Catherine McCallum, editors of Agile and Lean concepts for teaching and learning, bringing methodologies from industry to the classroom. David Parsons and Catherine McCallum have done a great service to the educational field by bringing together the emerging global thinkers and practitioner pioneers who are translating and adapting Agile and Lean approaches to solve a broad range of important challenges in the educational sector. Each of the chapters outlines experiments, both conceptual and practical, that offer rich learning for educators interested in how to achieve greater impact through the adoption of the new values, beliefs, processes, and techniques. This volume holds great promise in accelerating learning and further experimentation in the field in order to have a greater impact on an outcome for the students. The goal of Agile is ultimately to make the developing process more flexible, which is done by delivering in small and also frequent iterations. The goal of Lean is to make the developing process sustainable, which is done through continuously improving the processes, listening to and incorporating customer feedback is at the core of both Agile and the Lean. Agile and Lean systems are being called upon to assist organizations with moving quicker and produce greater contributions in maintainable, solid workplaces, since they are actualized distinctively in various groups, associations, and enterprises. There's a ton of confusion about the differentiations between these systems and the practices related to them. Be familiar with Lean, Agile, Scrum, Kanban, and different tools organization use to get ahead. Software development groups started rehearsing Agile to improve adaptability, client or user fulfillment, and flexibility in the commercial center. Rather than sending software in huge, booked deliveries, Agile advances separating work into little by little, step by step, or in irregular cycles. Instead of investing energy gold plating new releases internally, groups get work to a deployable state, discharge as it's prepared, and permit clients to give an input on what works, what doesn't, and what can be improved. Scrum is a subset of Agile utilized generally by improvement groups, which utilizes time boxes to repeat on an item in 14 days run. Applying Agile philosophies to taking in and educating changes from informations move to other informations created from rich joint effort and experiences. Instructors become facilitators, mentors, and persuasive worker pioneers for students that are self-coordinated learners. The emphasis is not on unbending plans. Rather, adaptability is indeed a need to be considered the students' input and their various capacities, interest, challenges, or even their encounters, targeting, opening their hidden strengths and interests or talents. The emphasis is on conveying the highest value regarding both control explicit learning results and soft skills. For example, association, arranging, collaboration, and cooperation, applying agile learning systems to permit students to cooperate in a more energetic, more directed, and in a viable way. Whatever types of technical practice or project management technique we might encourage the students to adopt, they need to feel the benefits of those in helping them to deliver reliable softwares that meets their customers' needs without working to a chaotic or so-called crazy schedule. As we want to foster creativity and believe that students are more motivated when they get to choose from a wide range of projects, we need to provide support and tutoring that is specific to each team. Following a coaching model allows us to provide relevant, specific help and also an advice to each participating team at the point that they need it. This seems to be more effective than more generalized transmission through lectures, especially given the varying needs of different teams. By coming up with an overall iteration structure and a lightweight way of assessment through end of iteration checklist, it is possible for us to have a degree of consistency across the class while still allowing the different teams to work in quite different ways. We also found that this outline structure helps students to plan their work across the term rather than leaving everything until just before the final deadline. Lean and Agile share a preference for lightweight, iterative, and incremental development as opposed to more plan-based approaches, which requires more heavyweight documentation. These words are coming from Papendick and Cosumano in the year 2012. At the same time, lean and agile are not similar or not synonymous. Lean has a key focus or more focus on reducing the waste, whereas Agile emphasizes the ability to adapt quickly to changes. And this was according to Holgren and Oliger in the year 2009. Hence, in industry, lean tends to be associated with a cost leadership strategy, agile with a differentiation strategy, making the parallel to education. The common denominator of lean and agile education would be the iterative and incremental aspects, letting students pursue their education in an emergent manner, as opposed to the traditional plan-based education dominant today. Lean education, in particular, would strive to contain only what is necessary, while more on waste and cost leadership. While agile education, in particular, would cater especially to students for whom cost might be less of an issue, but who might want to differentiate themselves from the pack and get an education adapted to their personal preferences. What might the lean principle of waste reduction mean in education? The first and the most obvious interpretation would be that the education is cheap in terms of small or zero tuition fees, no tuition fees, as is typically the case for MOOCs, or should I pronounce this MOOCs? On the other hand, it might also mean that the education is quick or faster or easy. Even when tuition is free, education will have a cost for the students in the sense that the capacity for paid work is reduced or are reduced while studying. A loss hopefully regained by higher earnings afterwards. The longer an education takes, the bigger the upfront investment and the bigger the risk that the assumed return on investment somehow does not materialize. A strict adherence to lean might thus inspire attempts to strip the education of any content not strictly necessary for the purpose, thus making it quicker and cheaper. For the conclusion, though often treated as distinct methodologies or they have similarities or even differences, Agile and Lean are rooted in similar values in a way that it serves to be a tool to help the students understand more and in a fun way. These methodologies have evolved as they've expanded into new industries, applications, and more opportunities. And many organizations have been incredibly successful in drawing from elements of both Agile and the Lean. Using the systems thinking, continuous improvement approach of Lean, Agile development practices can be used to help the organizations build healthy, innovative organizations that sustainably deliver customer value. We accept that there are significant open doors for teachers to receive parts of Agile and Lean practices. Though some fascinating work has just been embraced here. The writing proposes that there is substantially more that should be possible to bring the benefits of agility and lean thinking into the classroom. We have endeavored to give a more clear comprehension of the manners in which that agile and lean methodologies can be applied to educating and learning at 3 specific levels. And what are those levels? These are the qualities, strategies, and the processes. These are the estimation of office results and improvement, measures for reflection and emphasis at a movement oversaw by the student, and procedures for cooperation, correspondence, and critical thinking. It has provided an insight into the way that provide personalized learning experiences in a university-wide introductory programming course. Course content is flexibly defined by the learners, and based on the individual goal setting, the students are allowed to choose the assignments they work on. In analogy to Agile software development, this corresponds to allowing the development team to decide which features they choose to work on or what they are best at, depending on the complexity and other factors associated with the feature. We have also shed light on how students experience and utilize the Agile course set up by analyzing their study paths. Games are widely used in industrial Agile software development, certification, and training workshops. There is an increasing trend of trialing games for learning Agile software development in academic context, in particularly the Scrum method and its practices. We introduce 4 paper-based collaborative games in a dedicated Agile and Lean software development course to help learners understand and experience concepts such as iterative and incremental delivery, team-based effort estimations, pair programming, and work-in-progress limits. through classroom observations and survey based quantitative and qualitative data. We found that collaborative games were preferred by most learners over traditional ways of individual learning in class, both in terms of their potential for fun and learning effectiveness. These collaborative games were found to supplement learning, an alternative for learning in a more fun way and to make the students more motivated. Help invigorate learner engagement and promoted team building, while new games originating from academic context are also welcomed. Educators can select from a variety of existing Agile games, easily accessible and easy access with the resources online, to introduce games into their classrooms based on their ability to deliver desired learning outcomes and graduate attributes also. The successful use of the games, however, is dependent debriefing sessions that relate the game experience with the underlying theoretical concepts, other types of games in academic context, and industry-based professional agile certification training again, industry-based professional, other types of games in academic context, and industry-based professional agile certifications, trainings, and workshops can be studied in the future to gauge the impact of agile games on engagement and learning effectiveness. We To end this, we are moving forward with what may be the most important and most difficult part of our own agile transformation or our own agile journey. It is to creating a culture in which agile thinking can thrive. We heard about cultural change in an interview with the educators pulling agile into education. We've seen the cultural change ourselves in our classes and in dormitories. Our curriculum and instruction, our meetings and working groups. It is an exciting time in education. Perhaps there is indeed a room for a significant shift in mindset and the way teachers teach and students learn. The world we live in is certainly changing. We hope that education can keep up with it, since we really know how important the education is. It can't be taken away from us. And education is the treasure of all fellow men. And that would be all. Thank you.